Okay, right.
Okay. Hello, everyone from everywhere around the world. Um, we are so sorry to be late this time around. It's another episode of the Hotspot International Scholar Forum, the weekly webinar. And today we will be talking about the Australian Award Scholarship for Africans. And with us here is um, our great scholar Maroof Adebayo, whom I will be sharing with you his profile um, while we'll demystify the Australian Award Scholarship. So, like I said, his name is Maroof Adebayo Alatise. He's a medical doctor and a public health physician um, whose special interest is in infection prevention and control, with a focus on drug resistance, tuberculosis infection control, care and management in Nigeria. He graduated from the Better by Far University for his bachelor's in medicine, um, and he has worked across different health sectors in Nigeria and some other places in the world. As far as Nigeria is concerned, he has worked as a physician in charge, uh, a chest clinic and tuberculosis has presented across different um, across different international conferences around the world. Some of his presentations include the evaluating the impact of treatment supporters on tuberculosis care and management in Nigeria, an analysis of treatment outcomes in Osun State, um, and two is the effectiveness of referral coordinators in bringing people from one country to another. He has presented about the interim outcome of MDR-TB patients on treatment in Osun State, Nigeria. Um, and to round it up, one of his paper was equally on the blood pressure pattern of the Ogidi community, a suburb of Ilorin, and many more presentations that he has had like that. At the moment, he is um, he is currently studying a double master's program in infectious disease intelligence and master's in public health at the University of South Wales in Sydney, Australia. Today, we will be talking to us um, based on um, 5 points, which I will give him the chance to discuss as soon as possible. The first one, he will be talking to us as regards why an individual or a scholar, an academic scholar, should be um, applying to study in a country like Australia. What is the educational importance, and what are the chances for an individual after study? Uh, After that, he will be discussing as regards an overview of Australian award scholarship for Africans. What are what are the general stuff that are in for an African applicant? Then thirdly, you will be talking about the application processes. What do we need to do if we need to apply to an Australian university? Then the fourth one will be as regards the selection process. How do I maneuver my way through the selection process? What are the things I need to perfect? And as we all know that every scholarship has stages. So the next thing we will talk about is how to excel in this in the interview stage after the selection process has been done. Then it will give us some other tips for winning scholarships, and lastly we'll take question and answer from our listeners. So without any further ado, I will hand over the baton to Scholar Maroof. We are so glad to have you here, and we really play that Almighty will continue to bless you
Thank you very much. Uh, so, good evening, everyone. Hope you can hear me.
Hello, Scholar Maroof. Can you hear us?
Yes, I think it's the technology. Can you
Okay,
hear me
no
now? Hope
problem.
I'm
Yeah,
still live.
will you be willing to share your screen or you don't have any slide?
I think I've done that.
Okay. Yeah, the slide is not here. Could you probably, I mean, upload it so that we present it for people to see?
Um, Sorry, please pardon me. I don't know. Please let me try it one more time.
Okay.
Sorry, it doesn't go then.
Not yet.
Please, when it comes, just let me know. Okay, I've done
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's perfect. Now, probably you can use the full screen mode.
Okay. Hope I can continue now.
Yeah, I mean, use the full screen mode. It's not yet on full screen.
I've done that.
Yeah, that is strange because I can. Okay, you don't worry. Probably you can go ahead with that because of the time.
So can you see it now?
Yeah, can you make it full screen?
It is full screen now.
Okay, go ahead. Though we can still see. Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So good morning, good day, everyone, wherever you are. It's like 11 p.m., almost 11 p.m. from Sydney here. Okay. Today I'll be talking about the Australia Award Scholarship for Africa and nitty gritty. I'll be taking us through the major points as has been highlighted. So why is now Australia an important international destination for students? We'll talk about the overview of the purpose, the benefits, and I'll take us through the application process and the tips on how to excel in the interview, after which we'll have Q&A session. Australia is one of the largest economies in the world and it's currently ranked 11th global largest economy, and it's very expanding health system that is around what we have in United States. It's one of the country with best education system. Students running to Australia now. Universities among the best 100 universities in the world, according to the New Times, the Times World University Ranking 2023 that came out in October 2022. So, Australia Award is majorly for students from Indo-Pacific region, students from India, Mumbai, Vietnam, Fiji, China, Taiwan. For Africa, there are 26 countries that are eligible to apply for Australia Award this year. So very soon we'll see the list of those countries.
Yes,
What is the
sorry,
aim?
Scholar Maroof, to interrupt you. We can't still see your slide. Probably, could you remove and re-upload it again to a full screen mode? I mean, the slideshow, and click on the. So, I mean, on slideshow on the taskbar. Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Not yet. The slideshow
Yeah, I've
on that
put it
slide.
in. Yes.
I we
I don't
still
know why
that's
it's I don't know why it's like that.
yeah, maybe okay. Sorry, sir. Could you click on slideshow?
I've done that. This is it. This is it. I've done that.
Okay. Maybe go. Yeah.
Can you see it like that?
Yeah, we can see it now. Yeah, we
Okay.
can
Can
see.
I once I put
Yeah.
it in the slideshow, it will not show.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
when you
Go
complain
ahead.
that you couldn't see it. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead now, sir.
Okay.
Sorry to
So
interrupt you.
no problem, no problem. So the aim behind the offering scholarship from for students from internet, for developing countries, the aim majorly is to contribute the socio-economic development of those countries. In this case, we're talking about African nations, and the strive towards attaining the sustainable development goals. Okay, how do they do this? Through education. Australia impacts and strengthens the leadership skills and the knowledge of the prospective awardees so that on getting back to their country, they will be able to contribute to the development of their country. And in this stream, there are focus areas, okay? The areas in which Australia has a comparative advantage, like in agriculture, food security, climate change, mining, and counter-terrorism. Okay, the aim overall objective is to foster security, stability, and prosperity of the African continent. What are the benefits? It's not a one-way thing; it's a two-way affair, in which Australia tends to benefit from students coming into their countries. There's promotion of skill transfer. Students entering into the Australia, they enter into their workforce and contribute immensely in imparting the skills that they have onto the indigens. Through this scholarship, cultural diversity is enhanced, and this promotes cultural exchange. It improves bilateral and multilateral relationships among countries, even not within Africa, across the world. As I mentioned earlier, because Australia has a very aged population, so majorly the economy depends on students, immigrants from other countries. As an awardee, what are the benefits that the awardee will gain from this scholarship? I put it in simple words: it's a life-changing experience because you establish connection, you make friends who come along with throughout as we sojourn through our higher educational career, even when we begin to work. Okay. I mentioned that Australia offers world-class education. No doubt about that. In the latest ranking, there are 37 universities in Australia that are able to make the the new world university ranking. Okay, and through that, the awardee will become more marketable due to the skills and knowledge he or she acquires. Okay, after 2 years, that awardee has the opportunity to re-enter Australia either to work or for any other purposes. So, what are the entitlements to the awardee? So, scholarships involves provision of return tickets from and to Australia. And once the awardee gets to the Australia, he will be given what we call establishment allowance, which currently stands at 5,000 Australian dollars. Okay, an introductory academic program is organized. Later, I'll talk about this introductory academic program. It's just to ensure that the awardee settles into the educational system in Australia. Payment of tuition fee, which depends on the course that individual is offered. Also, we have what we call CLE, contribution to living expenses. This money is paid every 2 weeks, and currently it stands at 82.15 Australian dollar per day. A comprehensive overseas student health cover is provided for this awardee to be able to access healthcare free. Supplementary academic program majorly for people with disability or people that has one or two challenges with the study. So extra support is given to such individual. Also, fieldwork allowance. This is only paid for masters by coursework that has a research component, and or also masters by research or to PhD students, and currently it stands at 500 US dollar. Now that we've talked about what Australia Award entails, let's dive into the application process. The process starts with you creating your own account. Very soon, I'll show us how we're going to create our account. And afterward, you check your eligibility and proceed with the application. For African countries, as I said, there are 26 countries in this stream of Australia Award Africa 2024. Okay, each country has its own priority areas. So by checking your eligibility, you'll be able to know whether an individual nowadays is qualified to apply despite having other credentials. Later, I'll talk about the supporting documents and other things. Now, register your account. There's an online application platform called OSIS. It means Online Australia Scholarship Information System. So, awardee or intended awardee must apply through this platform. Before now, they used to give opportunity for uh, people with maybe you are from a country or a rural area where there's no internet, you can actually apply through mail. Okay, but what I realize is that oftentimes this doesn't work. So it's advisable to apply through this online platform. And note, the announcement was made on the 1st of this month, 1st of March, and it will close on the 29th of April. But mind the time, 11:59. That's Australian Eastern Sydney time. Okay, and in Nigeria it translates to 1:59 p.m. So if you're looking at, okay, I'll fill it at night, I'll submit it at night, then probably it would have been late because there's 10-hour difference between Sydney and West Africa. So what are the individual eligibility criteria? Majorly, the scholarship is for mid to senior level professional applicants, either from public service or employees from private organizations, those in the non-governmental organizations, or those that are involved in volunteering or community-based sector. The awardee must have completed undergraduate studies. So if you have completed undergraduate studies, or probably maybe you have master's degree, you cannot apply for Australia award in this stream because this stream majorly is for master's degree. And although PhD degree is being as PhD scholarship is being offered, but this is very, 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 very rare. Okay, except you complete your master's degree with Australia Award Scholarship, and maybe you graduate with excellence, and the school now recommends that you undertake your PhD. Aside that, it is very difficult to just win PhD scholarships directly for Africa in these streams. So Australia Award for PhD scholarships majorly have been given to Indo-Pacific countries and the Asian countries. So this shows the list of countries that are eligible for this stream. There are 26 of them. I won't go through each of them. But supporting documents constitute an important part of the application process. And once it is not complete, that application will not be treated. So an individual will need an undergraduate degree certificate, the academic transcript, NYC certificate. I tailored these requirements to Nigeria as a country, okay? Or you see, for other countries, NYC certificate is not compulsory, but for Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Education make it compulsory that we should provide the NYC certificate or the exception letter. So the birth certificate, evidence of employment, if currently you are engaged, but this is not so compulsory if you are not currently engaged, and that doesn't mean that you cannot apply. So one will need a detailed CV. As I go along, I will be able to tell us later the importance of this resume. So IELTS results, passport biodata page, and other supporting documents. But please note that IELTS is not compulsory, okay, for countries that they have their lingua franca as English language. Countries like Nigeria, IELTS is not compulsory, okay, but country like Mozambique, who majorly speak Portuguese, IELTS is compulsory. And even prosthetic RT that doesn't have IELTS and was able to win the scholarship will have to undertake an English language course on getting to Australia. Other documents like evidence of publications, have you been volunteering in material services, certificate of excellence, all these are not compulsory. uh, but they can add credence, they can let credence to your application. Okay. And they are very, very important, especially if you have them, to present them during the interview. So, how are we going to manage our choices as a prosthetic awardee? Okay, you have to select two courses, each in two universities of your choice. What it means is that you cannot select two courses in a university. So you can only select one course per university, and you have the option of choosing two universities. So I tried to go online to be able to get us the link to these universities. As I said earlier on, this list represents the top 37 universities in Australia, and who these universities are among the best universities in the world. Especially the first seven, you can see makes the first 100 university in the world. So, what for prospective awardee, they just have to click on each of these universities to take them to the profile page of the university, and from there you can access the official website and browse through the available courses. So these are just the list of the university. How are we going to manage our courses? It's advisable to select one out of the group of eight. The group of eight universities are the best eight universities in Australia. And the competition in these universities are very, 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 very high. Because I was talking to one of the staff of the DFAT, we call them DFAT, uh, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Australia. And there are some students who couldn't come into Australia because they chose two of these universities as their choice. And they eventually turned down, they were not given admission. So it's advisable that the awardee, the prospective awardee, choose one of these universities and one from other universities so as to improve on their chance of being selected or being admitted into the university. It is important to say that admission into the university comes later after you might have won the scholarship. Okay, so if someone was able to win the scholarship and not getting such individual was not admitted into the university, then there's nothing the DFAT, the Directorate of Foreign Affairs and Trade, they are in charge of the Australia Award. There's nothing they can do. So to maximize one's chance, it is better to choose one of these universities and another one from the remaining list. Now, for these streams, these are the priority areas. So, year in, year out, this priority area seems constant with just minor difference. When I won my own scholarship, the emphasis was not even on health, the emphasis was on the climate change, the mining, and the public policy. Okay. And I want to say that regardless of your discipline, it doesn't matter. Regardless of your discipline, you can apply to Australia Award scholarship. What will determine whether you'll be able to get the scholarship is how you're able to tailor your expertise, your skill towards either one or more of these priority areas. Now, this is the core of the Australian Award scholarship. If you don't get this right, you won't win the scholarship. Okay? And before you're able to write a personal statement and RAP simply means reintegration action plan. You will write this yourself, okay, and with your personal statement. So if you don't get it right, they will just throw your application somewhere because there are certain key things that they are looking for. Okay, I try to jot some points and plus to read through. So the student must be able to demonstrate deep understanding of the choice of the course that he intends to study, and also the choice of the universities. Okay, you must be able to demonstrate in your writing why you're choosing that course, what do you intend to gain from that course, why postgraduate education, why Australia, what skills do you need, and how will these skills contribute to your own development and foster your organization goals and objectives. Okay, you must be able to give examples and relate this to the priority areas that I discussed earlier. Okay, in your writing, you must be able to tell whoever is reading it what are the qualities that you possess. Okay, one should not go over his head. Okay, but you must be able to demonstrate your academic credentials, your attitude, what you've been engaged in, your job descriptions, how you've been able to contribute to the society. You must be able to see this and give examples. Probably, if possible, you attach the evidence while you're uploading the supporting documents. Okay? The most important thing is that you must write them clearly, legibly, and mind your grammar. I said higher on. IELTS it's not compulsory. It's not made compulsory. Okay? But the way we write, like give an indication to whether such person is up to the standard of undergoing postgraduate education in Australia. So, and oftentimes, the universities of your choice, they use this to assess you whether you are very, very proficient in English language. So it is very, very important that we write correctly and error-free. So another key part of the supporting document is the employer statement. Okay, this comes like it's a two-page document. The first section and talks about the employer's expectation. This must be filled by either your supervisor, your director, or your CEO of your establishment. But please, you must not leave them or whoever is responsible to write it alone, because this must speak uh, to your RAP, reintegration action plan. So what I did then was that I wrote my RAP and take it to my supervisor, make adjustments, okay, and use that to write the employer statements. So because the two must speak to one another, okay, the employer statement must contain your job description, while what you are doing is very important. It must reflect how capable you are, and your supervisor will be able to justify your character and the quest to acquire knowledge. Okay, this employer statement must sell you if you want to win this scholarship. Then to the selection process. Oftentimes, what we can do as an awardee is to ensure that we submit a very perfect application, because the selection process is not in our hands. Okay, but there are criteria that they look for in your application. Are you academically competent? And mind you don't have to have first class. Even you don't have to have a second class upper to get Australia award. Okay, because I don't know the percentage now. During my own time, this just contributes like 10%. Academic competence contributes like 10% to the overall score. Okay. But what is important is the potential outcome. What will you bring to the table after this postgraduate education? And how will that foster your country's development? Do you have a clear roadmap? how would this improve you personally? How will you be able to cascade the knowledge that you gain on getting back? Okay, and as you can see, all these are detailed or should be detailed in your RAP, your integration action plan, supported by your employer's statements. Also, it's important that you have a very detailed CV because your CV will contain so many things that your employer will not be able to state in his or her employer statement form. Also, it will contain other things or other skills that you've been able to acquire even before joining that organization. So you should have a very detailed CV, paying attention to the work experience. Okay, how many workshops have you been able to achieve? How many certificates of participation have you been able to achieve to acquire that are very relevant to the course that you want to study? So all this should be detailed in your curriculum vitae. So as you can see, many times we all made mistakes by just writing our CV anyhow and submit it as it is, not knowing that it's a very, very important aspect of any application process. What are the tips to excel in the interview? To me, then, because I've been working for a very long time before I applied for this scholarship, it was very, very easy. So I've been able to acquire lots of skills, lots of experience. I've been able to apply for so many other scholarships, and it was a bit easier for me because I have so many things to talk about. But whatever the situation is, there are certain things that we must note during the interview. And let me just mention here, Australia Award Scholarship interview was an open book. Then it was very, very an open book because like 30 minutes you should be at the venue and probably 15 minutes to the interview. All the questions will be made available to you in a room. So you have the opportunity to sit, digest the questions, and probably jot the points that you want to talk about, jot them down before you even enter for the interview program. And the interview lasts for like 30 minutes. But you must make sure that you're able to address each of those questions satisfactorily within that 30 minutes. So there's no point mentioning or talking about things that are not so relevant. Just go straight to the question and explain each or answer each of those questions. Your interview must be able to reflect who you are. So you must be able to sell yourself. Okay, they don't know you, you know yourself. But whatever you've been written in your rap, in your personal statements, or whatever has already come out in your CV, you must be able to defend them because each of those panelists, they have, or interviewers, they have your CV, they have your rap, and other supporting documents with them. Okay? Usually, it's advisable to approach it from the word star, as if you are reaching for the star. Okay? You must be able to describe what the situation is. Explain the tasks that you've carried out, that you're expected to solve. That's the task. Explain the activities that you've carried out or you've engaged in and what the results are. Okay, for each of those questions, try to use this acronym STAR, and you see that conveniently within the time you'll be able to talk excellently well. And what are the areas that I haven't looked into in the interview? One, Your RAP, you can see we keep mentioning RAP, Reintegration Action Plan. Okay, you must be able to explain those skills that you have, relate it to your country's development priorities. Okay, how will it contribute to your current job or future job, as the case may be? Okay, so you must conveniently taking the panelists back to your RAP so that they will know that yes, you know what you're discussing. You must have an understanding of your development country's development agenda. I was asked about development plans in Nigeria in the interview, and I just took them from the pre-colonial time. Each time we have a review of the national plan up to Vision 2020, okay, up to Millennium Development Goal, okay, up to Sustainable Development Goal, and how being able to domesticate those developmental agenda, global development agenda in Nigeria. So you must be able to show the understanding of those concepts. Show them that yes, you know your country, you know the problems in your country, and you relate this to the global stage, and how you're able to come in solving some of these problems. Please note, you must always give examples because examples will buttress or will reinforce that yes, you know what you're talking about, and if given the opportunity, you'll be able to discuss excellently well. Also, there is a concept in Australia that they are very, very passionate about in Australia. So this is the concept of equity and social inclusion. Most of the challenges in the world are due to inequalities, and lack of social inclusion. So what this means is that inequity is like people are not given the same platform, or some people are not included in decision making. And I'll give us an example. In health, in Nigeria, for instance, 60% of the doctors are in the cities, and just less than 30% are in the rural area. Whereas most of the population, like 60% of the population, are in the rural area. You can see there's inequality in the distribution of doctors. Okay, and even most of the facilities, hospitals, are in the cities or bigger towns, whereas you have probably maybe primary health center that is not functioning in the rural area, and people have to move very long distance to access care. That's inequity. Okay, sometimes when we want to take decisions in policy, we neglect the people with disabilities. In some culture, they neglect women. This is what we call inequity. So Australia is promoting this concept of equity. Give people similar platform. Okay. When I was asked this question, it was so new to me then that I had to just tailor my response using my field. Okay. Oftentimes I engage in what we call medical missions, free medical missions. Nobody pay on me. I would just gather my colleagues, go into the rural area, even if it is just a day, attend to their care. They don't have to come to these cities. We go with free drugs, free equipment to test them. Just an attempt to ensure that they have access to healthcare. So, whenever you want to, whichever field you have, always try to show that you understand what equity means, and probably you've been promoting it or how you intend to be promoting equity. So thank you very much. I think because of the time, where our time is almost spent, but I have this caption: the fact that you've been applying for a very long time, doesn't mean that you cannot get it this time. So please, as we are trying to climb to the top, let's not stop. Let's keep pushing, and very soon we get to the top. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Okay.
much, Scholar Maruf. Go ahead, Abdul.
Yeah.
Hope I'm
Thank you
within
very
the
much
time.
for your time. Yeah, you did perfectly fine, and it was a great job you have delivered so far. Uh, from the ISF board to the members, every one of us around the world appreciate the job you have delivered. Well done. So, without any further ado, we would like to take questions from our listeners. Um, and if you don't mind, I can start with myself. Um, I have like 4 to 5 questions here, and
Okay.
um, probably I can take it one after the other, or will you mind I list out the questions?
Depends. Just fire on.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you talk as regards the application being open to majorly masters seekers, people who are seeking to get admission for a master's program. So, and you said an individual who has a master's degree cannot apply. So, my question is, what if this person is trying to apply for a second master's degree?
Okay. Do you want me to answer that? Yeah. Uh, because
Okay.
I said when I end my discussion with equity and social inclusion. So what
Mhm.
Australians believe in is that you leave that opportunity for others, that slot, you lose it for others who has not obtained master's degree.
Okay.
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 So if you have master's degree and you applied and they got to know, they can revoke that scholarship because it is part of the eligibility criteria that you must not have obtained master's degree. Do you
Okay.
understand my point? So
No,
it's
no.
advisable not
It's
to
very clear.
apply for Australia awards. There are other scholarships for PhD, okay, even for master's degree
Okay.
by Australia government. Apart from this popular Australian award scholarships, so one can apply for that.
Um, Thank you for that. So the second one is while you were presenting, I noticed one of the documents that is being required of applicants is the birth certificate. So I was wondering if there is any age benchmark for applicants.
No, no.
Okay.
Now in this
Okay.
stream, before they said one should not be more than 40, 40, 45 then, but now in this stream, they did not include the age. So birth certificate is just part of the supporting documents from the country. Do you understand? So as
Okay.
Nigerian government require you to provide uh, birth certificate, and also why we be able to get the scholarship, the school, the university requires that birth certificate because your date of birth will be on the admission letter that will be offered to you.
Okay, so thank you for that as well. So the other one is as regards the academic transcript. So you talk about the transcript as also part of the document. So I want to ask because there are some universities that always request official transcript. My question here is, can an applicant submit a student copy of transcript?
Yes, it's even the student copy that is required.
Okay, good,
And
good.
if they need the official from the university, the DFAT will tell you and make official requests. But the one you need
Yeah.
to just scan yourself and upload into the overseas application platform.
Okay. Um, there are other two questions. I want to ask the two together now. So the first one is, you talk about a detailed resume. So I was going to ask, like, how many pages expected, like, for an applicant to have a very well detailed, there has been discrepancies as regards CV and the likes. And luckily, someone is asking the same question from the listeners now, asking if the CV has a particular format of Europas and the like. So maybe you can take the two questions together.
I think it's one question. Okay.
Now I'm asking in regards to my own question is the number of pages, and
Okay.
the other listener question is as regards the format, probably Europass or just a general form of CV.
No, it's a general form of CV. You can design it just yourself. Okay. It doesn't have to be in specific format. As to regards the number of pages, okay, the purpose of you using your CV or uploading your CV is to give information about you. Okay, so
Okay.
forget about the academics in this regards. So make sure your CV is as detailed. I have a 4 pages CV that I uploaded because I want to ensure that I'm able to incorporate those things that are very, very, very essential in that CV. So, as far as Australia Award Scholarship is concerned,
Okay.
there's no limit to the number of pages. Just ensure that you're able to ensure that all the key things that can give you an edge in the selection process are included in your CV.
Okay. Thank you very. There's another question from the listeners asking about if, what are the documents that need to be certified before submitting an application.
No, you don't need your documents certified.
Okay.
You don't need this. You don't need some certified. No, this is
Okay.
not, and I said something earlier on. Admission comes after the selection process for the scholarship. So
Okay.
for the scholarship, you don't need certified documents. Even for the admission, because it is Australia Awards, the managers, the DFAT, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, that will secure admission on your behalf. Okay, so whatever documents that you didn't submit during the scholarship process and you're able to scale the interview, you are finally selected, will be requested by your universities afterwards. Okay, if your institution
Okay.
now need a certified document, they will request that they want this document to be certified. But currently in Australia, we met the person. Sorry, I was from Africa. We met like 2 weeks ago, and all of us we entered through the same process. And I forgot to mention something the other time. Sorry. The interview for the Southwest, sorry, the Western Africa, the West Africa was conducted in Nigeria. Oftentimes they used to batch applicants for the interview, but all the expenses that are being incurred will be provided by the Australia Awards. Sorry, I
Okay.
forgot to mention that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. So I don't know if you talk about certification of document earlier because someone was asking again as regard certification of document at Ministry of Education and Foreign Affairs before submitting application. So I don't know if you talk about something like that. So
I don't know, maybe they requested for that in this stream because I didn't
okay.
enter into the platform. But
Okay.
it, it doesn't have to be certified.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be
So
certified.
someone is also asking if you assist people in reviewing their document before submission. So uh,
Yes, specifically talking about Nigeria now, sorry.
okay.
Those in charge at the Federal Ministry of Education, okay, every awardee like myself, they used to contact us and attach some prospective applicants to
Okay.
each of us so that we'll be able to mentor them and take them through the application process. But
Awesome.
I left and I don't know what the situation is now. But if
Okay.
anybody needs my assistance in this regard, I can contact me
Okay.
through
Um,
probably through mail.
Actually, I was going to ask about your email address and the link to the application platform
The link is
before.
in the presentation. The link is in the
Okay.
presentation. Yes.
Okay. Okay. We'll ask for the presentation slide as well. So uh, kindly assist us with that. So we have some other questions. So the first one is asking about if Eritreans are eligible to apply. I remember you shared the number of countries, like
Yes, but
26.
Eritrea is not among that list.
Okay, okay,
Not among that list.
okay, no problem. So another one is asking as regards
Or do you want me to go through the list for those people so that we know uh, which countries are eligible?
um well, because of time, I wouldn't want us to take
Okay,
through like 26
it's all right.
countries
I will
and
share. I will share.
yeah.
I will share.
But
And
I
even
think
at that, once I will share a link. Once they open that
okay,
link, you will get the list of the
exactly
countries.
that would be the best
Mm.
one. Thank you for that. So someone is asking as regards I think I saw another. Okay, the number of scholars. We have 26 countries, just we have stated now. So, is there any number given to each countries, like how many scholars per country?
I may not be able to say that. No, interview is on merit, and
No.
even your country representative, the way they structured it is such that even your country doesn't have a say in who is selected or not. Do you understand? And even during
Okay.
the interview process, the representative from your country is just an onlooker. Will just be there to watch the process. Will not even ask you any question. Do you understand?
Okay.
They're trying to be as
Yeah.
very transparent as possible to ensure that it is merit based. Okay. During my time,
Yes.
sorry, I'm taking so much time, but during my time,
No, it's fine.
people from neighboring countries came to Abuja. And conveniently, I can tell you as at that time, out of 22 that were selected, I think 10 are Nigerians. Okay.
Hmm.
So we have people from
Okay.
Ghana. You understand? So it's
Hmm.
majorly on merit.
Okay. Thank you for that. You talked about the link that you're going to share with us so that applicants um, can click on that and see the number of countries and the like. So probably you can um, help us to drop it in the comment box here. It will be shared on your behalf. Um, I think I should be able to answer this question. Someone was asking if people who have second class lower can apply.
I think
So
I've said that.
I think you talk as you got that. Like you
Yes.
don't even have to have a first class or two one.
No. But make sure your application is very
Yeah.
perfect and
Yeah.
up to standard.
Okay. If that is all, because I can't find any other question from our listeners. Okay, I was going to ask about the employer statement. So, my question um, is it could this statement be likened to a kind of recommendation?
So, can you
Do
hear
you
me?
get that? Yes, yes, I can hear you.
It's not really a recommendation. It's like a pre-typed form, two-page form, and I can even read you some of the questions. It's like
Okay,
recommendation, but you just
okay,
have to provide short answers like how long have you known the candidate professionally? Okay,
okay,
what is your relationship? You can
okay,
explain how the knowledge, what knowledge do you expect do you expect the candidate to acquire?
wow,
Do you understand?
Okay.
How will these
Okay.
skills contribute to your development? There are sections like that. And even the supervisor or your coordinator just have to even fill it with pen.
I see.
Okay? Fill it with pen and you collect,
Scan.
sorry, signed stamp and you scan it to your application.
Okay. 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 All right. Thank you very much for that, sir. If you can just give us the link, I think that will be the only thing we have to round up the webinar for today.
So if let me just sorry, yes, sorry, 1 minute.
Okay.
So I think
Yeah,
I've
I
sent
think probably, Prof, you can share your slide so that we can also upload it on the ACSM drive, sir.
okay. I've shared that link. Once they click on that link, it take them to the application page and they can check the eligible countries.
I believe that will be all for today's session. We thank you very much, Doctor. Um, we there is nothing we can like give to you today that could serve as our way of appreciating what you have given to us today. But rather, we pray that God will perfect everything that concerns you as well. And just like you talked about in the presentation, having volunteers experience, and I want to believe this is a motivation for every one of us, the moderators, the admins in HISF, and even every students around the world that, okay, as an individual, your volunteer experience is not a waste of time. So thank you very much for that. We say thank you, and thank you once again. And to all our listeners around the world, we say thank you and do um, keep tab on all our programs as we have every week the HISF webinar series. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you, Scholar Maroof. Yeah, thank you, Scholar Abdullah.
Very much,
So
sir.
hope you're offline now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will end the
How
broadcast now.
okay, how can I share